Okay, today's lesson is fairly short. It's a continuation of yesterday's stuff, and we're going to continue our review, and we're going to look at slope today. So today's lesson is the review and preview continued, lesson 1B. And so here we are, we're going to pick up slope. And slope we looked at in Math 10C. So remember, slope is the steepness of a line. So here's a definition, the steepness of a line. Or the rate of change is another word we use for slope, rate of change. It could also be the vertical change over horizontal change is slope. So vertical change, and triangle means change, over horizontal change. Okay, and that's our slope. That's our rate of change, or our slope. And it's another way we can think of it is rise over run. Vertical change is your rise over your run. And there's a formula we used, and this is on your formula sheet. It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We use that if we have a coordinate grid and we know 2 points. And remember, a point, the first point, doesn't matter which one is your first, is x1 comma y1. Right, x comma y, and the other one x comma y as well, so call it x2 and y2. And so if we want to find the rate of change, we have this formula that can find that rate of change. So we're figuring out, okay, change of y, and that's why we're subtracting the y's to find the difference over change of x, to find that difference in the x's. So determine the slope of each line with rise over run. So we're just using rise over run, slope of AB, line AB. So let's find our rise. So starting at A, we move up or down, and then we're going to go left or right. So we go up how many? 1, 2, 3. So our rise is 3 over our run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We always reduce our fraction, so 3 over 6 is 1/2. Slope of CD, start at C. We go down 1, 2, 3. Now going down is negative, so negative 3 over 4. Okay, and another way you can remember it's a negative slope is slope band. I'll show you what slope band is. So if we have this little guy here, so positive is rising to the right, negative falling to the right. If you ever have a vertical line, it's undefined, that's the U, and a horizontal line, slope is 0, and that is slope band. So rising to the right here, this was rising, that's why it was a positive slope. This one's falling as we move to the right, so right like we would read, then it's a negative slope. It says determine the slopes of each line using the formula. Okay, so we have to figure out the points. So starting with A, remember x is first, so x is 1, comma, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's your y, so x comma y, right? So it was 8 high, and horizontally it was 1, and our b value, so looking down, 6, 7, comma, x, and then y is 11. So using our formula, slope of AB, we have to figure out, okay, who's going to be 0.1, 0.2. I usually like to use the first point as 0.1. For the one that's the first on the left, and the one on the right is 0.2. So x2, y2. So now you just have to put it into the formula. So y2 is 11. 11 minus y1, which is 8. So here's y2 minus y1. So that's going to give us the difference of the y's. How much was the change there? So minus 8 all over x2, 7, minus x1. So what's the change in x? So it went from 1 to 7, so the difference is 6. 7 minus 1 is 6. Okay. Now, if you're typing this in your calculator, it's very important that you use something called invisi brackets, right? So there's invisible brackets that you're wrapping around the numerator and denominator if you want to type it in at once. So So 11 minus 8 divided by 7 minus 1. You wrap it, and there you go. So remember, in your calculator, change it to a fraction, math, enter, enter, and 1/2. To be safe, you might just want to go 11 minus 8, which is 3. You probably could have figured that out on your own. 7 minus 1 is 6, and then reduce it to 1/2. Okay, try the next one. Figure out the point. So x is 6, y is 5. X comma y. And the next guy, we have x is 10. It's right here. And our y value is 2. So, okay, we need to label one of them as, so we'll start by x, y, and then call first point 1, second point 2. So we fill it in. So we want to go slope CD, and we can just fill in our formula. Y2, which is 2, minus Y1, which is 5. Now the nice thing about the formula here, you don't have to worry about signs. It's going to come out positive or negative if it's supposed to be. Now x2, 10, minus x1, which was 6. And then you can either type it in your calculator. Again, you need those invisi brackets around the numerator and denominator. Or just figure it out. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. 10 minus 6 is 4. And they're negative 3 over 4, which is the same as we had above. So that's the slope formula. Review from a previous math course. So it doesn't matter if the slope is in B is calculated using the 2 endpoints of the line or 2 points found anywhere on the line. So it's saying, okay, well, what if I used, let's go to the first line, I think it's better. What if I use this point on the line and this point? Would I still get the same slope? So would it still work out? Rise of 1, run of 2. Yeah, it does. It doesn't matter what part of the line. So it does not matter. Let's write that out. It does not matter since the slope of the line is a constant ratio. Right? Whenever we have a line, it's always going to be at a constant rate, and it's rising and running. A line's steepness does not change. Also, it wouldn't be a line, it would be a curve. So a line's steepness does not change. Okay, so let's just review slope man really quickly. So slope man, it's positive, it's rising to the right, negative, falling to the right. If we have a vertical line, it's undefined, and horizontal is 0, and that's our slope man. So let's review. Slope is the measure of the steepness of the line. Slope is the ratio of the vertical change, called the rise, over the horizontal change, called the run. A line segment which rises from left to right. Yeah, so if it's rising left to right, so rises to the right, it's positive slope. And if it falls to the right, then it's negative. A horizontal line segment has a slope, so horizontal, horizon, slope is 0, it's cheeks, 0, and a vertical, that vertical line is undefined, it's a known, is undefined or does not exist, is an undefined slope. The slopes of all line segments on a line are the same or equal. All right, that's the end of this lesson. So question 7, 8, and 14 would be the homework for this lesson. And the rest of the lesson we're going to omit. So the next page you don't have to worry about. So all of this is enrichment. We don't need to cover any of this, meaning that part of the homework you don't need to worry about. So basically your assignment in this booklet combined is everything except for omit 9 to 12. These ones you do not want to do because that is beyond the curriculum, and so we're not going to cover that. And that's it.